The sun blazed mercilessly over the Egyptian desert as Dr. Adrian Kalin wiped the sweat from his brow, his boots sinking slightly into the shifting sands. For weeks, his archaeological team had been following a trail of obscure manuscripts recovered from the forbidden archives of an old Cairo monastery, documents that hinted at a hidden chamber buried somewhere beneath the ancient ruins of Abydos, far older than the dynasties of the pharaohs. These texts referred to a mysterious device known only as the Osiris Machine, described not as a weapon or a tomb, but as a rebuilder of worlds. At first, Kalin dismissed the idea as poetic exaggeration, but the further he read, the less certain he became. The manuscripts referenced precise star alignments, energy conduits buried beneath the Nile, and an ancient power source unlike anything modern science could comprehend. Late one night, inside a dimly lit tent, Kalin pored over one particular scroll, its ink faded but still legible. It described an event thousands of years before the first recorded Egyptian dynasty, a catastrophic collapse of the Earth's magnetic fields, violent climate shifts, and a great deluge that reshaped entire continents. According to the scroll, the survivors of this apocalypse built a machine designed to heal the wounded Earth. It spoke of crystalline pillars capable of channeling the planet's natural energy, of harmonic frequencies that could restore atmospheric balance, and of a central core said to manipulate the flow of time. The text concluded ominously, "When humanity forgets the song of the stars, the machine shall sleep. When the balance breaks, it shall awaken." Kalin was skeptical, but he wasn't the only one intrigued by the possibility. Unknown to his team, several powerful organizations had been monitoring their expedition from afar. Satellite scans from NASA and the European Space Agency had revealed strange geometric anomalies beneath the sands near Abydos, perfectly symmetrical structures buried deep below the surface, unlike anything seen before. Even more unsettling, seismic imaging suggested the presence of enormous chambers lined with what appeared to be metallic components, far older than the pyramids themselves. One evening, while Kalin examined a fragment of sandstone etched with complex spirals, his assistant Layla rushed in, her face pale. "You need to see this," she said breathlessly, handing him a tablet displaying the latest ground-penetrating radar scans. The image revealed a massive circular structure beneath their feet, nearly a kilometer wide, with a central core connected to radiating tunnels. The formation resembled the design of an enormous machine rather than any known burial complex. "It's not natural," Layla whispered. "And it's not Egyptian." Word spread quickly through the academic world, and soon Kalin's expedition became the target of increasing pressure. Government officials demanded access to his data. Private security contractors began appearing near the dig site, claiming to represent investors. Within days, 2 black SUVs arrived unannounced, and a man who introduced himself only as Director Harlow from an unnamed agency issued a warning: "Whatever you think you've found here, stop digging." Some knowledge was buried for a reason. But Kalin couldn't stop. The manuscript spoke of something far bigger, a network of machines hidden across the planet, all interconnected through a forgotten energy grid. Ancient myths from Sumer, India, and Tibet all referenced similar devices said to command the heavens. In the Rigveda, there were descriptions of vimanas powered by frequencies eerily similar to the Osiris texts. Tibetan scrolls spoke of Shambhala's engines designed to stabilize the Earth after cosmic disasters. Even Nikola Tesla's lost journals contained speculative designs strikingly close to what Kalin was uncovering. One night, as Kalin sat studying the inscriptions carved into a sandstone fragment, he noticed something odd. The symbols matched a set of unknown equations previously dismissed as meaningless. After cross-referencing them with Tesla's archived notes, a shocking realization dawned. The inscriptions described resonance frequencies that matched the Earth's Schumann resonances, natural electromagnetic patterns still measurable today. If these texts were accurate, the Osiris Machine wasn't just real, it was designed to harness planetary energy on a scale humanity has never achieved. But the manuscripts also carried a warning: misuse of the machine could destabilize the Earth's fields, tearing open what the ancients called veils between worlds. Kalin began to wonder if the great myths of Atlantis, Lemuria, and other lost civilizations were not fables but memories, warnings from those who had tried to wield this technology before and failed catastrophically. As Part 1 closes, the expedition stands on the edge of revelation and danger. Beneath their feet, buried under thousands of years of shifting sands, lies a machine older than history, holding secrets that could rebuild the planet, or destroy it forever. And unknown to Kalen, forces far beyond his imagination are already moving to claim it. The desert night was unnaturally silent. Dr. Adrian Kalen sat in the excavation tent, staring at the latest subsurface scans illuminated on his tablet. The data was irrefutable now. Beneath the sands of Abydos lay a colossal structure unlike anything seen before, its design far too precise, far too symmetrical to be natural. The circular complex extended over 900 meters in diameter, with 4 tunnel-like passages radiating from its central core, perfectly aligned with the cardinal directions. It was as though the entire thing had been engineered to interact with the Earth itself. Kalen leaned back in his chair, overwhelmed by the possibilities. What kind of civilization could have built this? And why had history erased all trace of them? Layla entered quietly, holding a small metallic fragment she had extracted from the northern dig site. "You need to see this," she said, handing it over carefully. The fragment was unlike any known artifact, a thin sheet of an unknown alloy, impossibly smooth to the touch, with strange fractal patterns etched into its surface. Kalen placed it under the microscope, expecting to see tool marks or imperfections. Instead, his breath caught in his throat. The patterns weren't decorative, they were microscopic circuits, latticed with nanostructures smaller than anything modern engineering could replicate. This wasn't ceremonial. This was technology. The next morning, the team descended deeper into the newly opened access shaft, passing through narrow sandstone passages carved with symbols matching those from the ancient manuscripts. At the far end, they encountered a sealed chamber door, a smooth slab of black stone covered in spirals and unknown glyphs, emitting a faint metallic hum. Layla placed her hand on the surface and recoiled instantly. "It's vibrating," she whispered. None of them could explain how, but the oscillations seemed to pulse at a low, rhythmic frequency, almost like a heartbeat. Kalen activated his handheld scanner, and the readings made no sense. The stone emitted electromagnetic waves resonating perfectly with the Earth's Schumann frequency, as if it were tuned to the planet itself. That night, Kalen called Dr. Amara Vey, an expert in archaeophysics who had spent years studying similar anomalies at Göbekli Tepe. When she saw the scans, her voice dropped to a hushed whisper. "This isn't Egyptian," she said. "This predates the dynastic period by at least 10,000 years, maybe more. And if I'm right, this machine is part of a global network." She sent Kalen an encrypted file comparing energy grids from ancient sites around the world, from the pyramids of Giza to Machu Picchu, from Angkor Wat to Nan Madol, and the alignment patterns were undeniable. These weren't isolated monuments. They were nodes, positioned deliberately to channel energy across the planet, all linked by frequencies buried in Earth's crust. But they weren't the only ones piecing the puzzle together. A few days later, 3 unmarked helicopters arrived near the excavation site under the cover of darkness. Heavily armed operatives established a perimeter without explanation. Director Harlow, the mysterious government liaison, returned with new orders. All excavation activities were now under military control. From this point forward, Harlow stated coldly, "This site no longer exists." Kalen protested, but Harlow silenced him. "You don't understand what you've found, Doctor. That machine was buried for a reason. If you wake it up, we don't know what will happen." Frustrated but undeterred, Kalen and Layla began secretly cataloging their findings, uploading encrypted data to an off-site server in Switzerland. One evening, while reviewing manuscripts, they discovered a passage that made Kalen's blood run cold. "When the stars realign and the breath of Ra fades, the machine will stir to restore balance, but only if the codes are sung by the chosen." He scrolled further and found strange geometric sequences resembling Tesla's obsession with 3, 6, and 9, numbers he believed were the key to unlocking the universe. Cross-referencing these with Tesla's lost patents revealed shocking parallels: harmonic frequencies, zero-point energy fields, and atmospheric conduction systems eerily similar to descriptions from the Osiris texts. Meanwhile, strange environmental anomalies began to manifest around Abydos. Magnetic compasses failed. Satellite GPS drifted unpredictably. The desert winds shifted unnaturally, as though influenced by some hidden force beneath the ground. A NASA insider leaked a document suggesting that a localized distortion field had formed over the site, a phenomenon resembling gravitational lensing but occurring on Earth. When Kalen confronted Harlow, the man refused to answer, but his grim expression confirmed everything. Whatever the Osiris machine was, it was waking up. Late one evening, deep within the chamber, Layla noticed faint beams of golden light emanating from the glyphs on the sealed door. As they watched, the spirals began to rotate slowly, aligning into a perfect geometric pattern. Without warning, the black stone emitted a low, resonant hum, and their handheld equipment surged violently before shutting down completely. For a moment, the entire chamber seemed to breathe, the air itself vibrating with an invisible energy. Layla looked terrified. "Adrian, I think it's trying to communicate." The following night, Kalen received an encrypted message from Amara Vey. Her team had discovered an ancient Tibetan manuscript referencing something called the engines of Shambhala, devices said to stabilize the earth after catastrophic events. The texts described them as siblings of Osiris, designed to resonate in unison when triggered. If true, the Osiris machine wasn't a standalone artifact. It was part of a planetary defense system, one designed by an advanced civilization long before recorded history. But if even one machine was activated without the others, the consequences could be catastrophic. The night air over Abydos was thick and electric, as if the desert itself was holding its breath. Dr. Adrian Kalen stood at the edge of the excavation shaft, staring down into the abyss illuminated by soft blue lights. Layla adjusted her headset nervously, whispering, "I still can't believe we're doing this, after what happened yesterday." Kalen didn't answer. He knew this descent was reckless, maybe even suicidal, but the manuscript's warnings haunted him. The machine sleeps, but when it stirs, those who seek shall either awaken the world or end it. The lift groaned as it lowered them deep into the chamber, their helmets casting moving shadows across walls etched with spiraling glyphs. The deeper they went, the more oppressive the air became, heavy with a strange static charge that made their hair rise. Finally, they reached the sealed black stone door, the same door that had pulsed with light and sound just nights before. But now, something was different. The spirals etched into its surface had fully aligned into a perfect circle, glowing faintly as though responding to their presence. Layla ran her scanner along the surface. "It's resonating at 7.83 Hz, she said softly, her voice trembling. "That's the Schumann resonance, the Earth's heartbeat." Kalen stepped closer, pressing his palm against the door. Instantly, the vibrations deepened, and with a low, resonant hum, the massive slab began to split silently down the middle. A gust of cold, dry air rushed out as the ancient passage opened for the first time in perhaps 12,000 years. They stepped into a colossal chamber unlike anything they had imagined. The walls curved perfectly, lined with crystalline columns that emitted a faint golden glow, casting ethereal patterns on the polished obsidian floor. At the center stood a towering structure, a massive cylindrical core suspended midair, rotating slowly, held in place by nothing visible. As they approached, their instruments went wild. Magnetic readings fluctuated beyond measurable limits, temperature sensors failed entirely, and their communication devices cut to static. Layla whispered in awe, "This isn't a tomb. It's a reactor." The core itself was composed of interlocking metallic rings, etched with patterns so intricate they seemed grown rather than manufactured. Within its transparent center, faint streams of energy danced like lightning frozen in liquid. Kalen circled it carefully, trying to comprehend its scale. "If this is what I think it is," he said, "this machine isn't just ancient, it's alive." Meanwhile, hundreds of miles away, Dr. Amara Vey studied a Tibetan manuscript inside her Zurich research lab. She compared its illustrations with the encrypted images Kalen had sent. Her heart pounded. "It's identical," she whispered. The text referred to the engines of the dawn, devices scattered across the world, constructed by a forgotten civilization they called the Kepri, designed to maintain the planet's balance after a cosmic catastrophe. But the manuscript carried a warning: if one engine stirs without its brethren, the song of the earth breaks, and the oceans shall rise again. Back at Abydos, Kalen approached a control console carved into the floor, its surface smooth like black glass. As his fingers brushed across the glyphs, the core responded, the golden energy streams brightened, and the columns surrounding the chamber began emitting a soft harmonic tone. The sound resonated deep in his chest, as though his entire body was vibrating with the frequency. Layla tried to pull him back, panic rising in her voice. "Adrian, stop. We don't know what this thing does." Before he could respond, the entire chamber erupted in light. The core projected a vast holographic map into the air, a three-dimensional rendering of the Earth covered in glowing geometric lines and nodes. Hundreds of points of light appeared, marking locations across the globe: Giza, Machu Picchu, Angkor Wat, Nan Madol, Antarctica, and even beneath the Himalayan mountains, precisely where Shambhala legends placed their hidden city of engines. Kalen's breath caught. "This isn't just a machine," he murmured. "It's a network." Layla pointed to the map, tracing the lines connecting each node. "Look at the pattern, they're aligned to harmonic ratios. This is global energy engineering, and we still can't replicate this today." But their discovery wasn't as secret as they believed. Above ground, Director Harlow watched everything through hidden surveillance feeds. He contacted an encrypted line, his voice low and urgent. "Phase 2 has begun. The Osiris core is active." A cold voice on the other end replied, "Then initiate containment." The machine does not leave Abydos. Moments later, power cut across the site. The chamber's lights dimmed, replaced by an ominous crimson glow from the core. A deep rumble shook the ground beneath their feet. The holographic map shifted, zooming into Antarctica. There, beneath the ice, another identical machine pulsed brightly on the projection. A fragment of decoded text floated across the display: "Twin hearts awaken as one." Kalen realized in horror what it meant. "Another Osiris machine," he whispered. "Somewhere beneath the ice." Suddenly, Layla noticed something else in the hologram, an overlay of symbols matching Tesla's lost notes on frequency harmonics. It was the same equation Tesla described in his journals, a formula for infinite, wireless energy transmission. Tesla didn't invent this, Layla breathed. He rediscovered it. Before they could analyze further, a series of explosions echoed above. Dust rained down as armed operatives stormed the chamber, weapons drawn. Harlow stepped forward, his expression grim. "Shut it down, Kalen. Now." Kalen stood firm. "You don't understand, if we shut it down incorrectly, we could destabilize the entire grid." Harlow's voice was cold. "That's a risk we're willing to take." As his men approached the core, the machine reacted violently, emitting a powerful shockwave that knocked everyone off their feet. Lights flickered, the chamber shook, and the harmonic tones intensified into an almost deafening roar. And then, silence. The holographic map now displayed a countdown, its alien glyphs flashing in pulses Kalen couldn't decipher. Layla grabbed his arm, panic in her eyes. "Adrian, I think we just triggered something." The chamber fell into a suffocating silence after the shockwave, but the air hummed with an invisible energy that made the walls vibrate faintly under their fingertips. Dr. Adrian Kalen struggled to his feet, heart pounding as he stared at the massive holographic projection floating above the Osiris machine. The countdown continued to pulse in alien symbols, each glyph shifting into a strange fractal pattern before transforming into the next. He glanced at Layla, whose trembling hands clutched the scanner now flickering erratically. "It's not a timer," she whispered, her voice almost breaking. It's synchronizing." Kalen's breath caught. Synchronizing with what? Before she could answer, the entire chamber shifted again. The golden light from the core rippled outward in concentric waves, and the holographic map expanded, projecting lines that extended beyond Earth into the solar system, connecting to Jupiter, Saturn, and points far beyond. This wasn't just a planetary network, this was a galactic interface. Suddenly, the voice of Dr. Amara Vey came crackling through Kalen's comm device, despite their communication system having failed earlier. "Adrian, listen to me, the manuscript from the Lhasa Monastery, I decoded the final passage. The Osiris machines weren't just built to stabilize the Earth after the last cataclysm. They were meant to prepare it. The countdown is not to destruction, it's to activation." Her voice broke slightly. "And when it finishes, we may not recognize our planet anymore." Kalen swallowed hard, processing her words, but before he could respond, Director Harlow shouted an order and his men raised their weapons at the core again. "Fire at will." The chamber erupted in chaos as bullets ricocheted off the crystalline columns harmlessly, absorbed by an invisible field surrounding the machine. A low, resonant hum deepened within the walls, almost like a heartbeat, and then the ground trembled violently, throwing operatives and researchers alike against the polished obsidian floor. Kalen crawled toward the console embedded into the ground, his fingertips hovering over the glyphs that had activated the hologram earlier. "If we can decode these," he muttered to Layla, "maybe we can interface with it before it locks us out." Layla's voice shook with urgency. I've seen these patterns before, in Tesla's journals. It's all about resonance and phase locking. If we match the machine's frequency, we might be able to communicate. Before they could act, the hologram shifted violently and focused on Antarctica. Beneath the frozen continent, another massive core flared brightly on the projection, connecting in real time with the Osiris Machine in Abydos. Then more nodes lit up, beneath the Himalayas, the Amazon rainforest, under the ruins of Göbekli Tepe, even deep below the Pacific Ocean. Dozens of Osiris machines across the globe were activating simultaneously, harmonizing through an unknown energy grid. Amara's voice returned, urgent and breathless. Adrian, listen to me carefully. These machines are geoengineering systems. They were designed to rebuild planetary ecosystems after cataclysmic events. If the manuscripts are correct, the last time they activated was right before the Younger Dryas extinction event, 12,800 years ago, when an asteroid impact nearly wiped out advanced pre-flood civilizations. Kalen froze, piecing the fragments together. You're saying, these machines saved us once. Amara's voice softened. Or reset us. Suddenly, the countdown hit its final glyph. The Osiris Machine roared to life, sending a colossal surge of energy through the chamber, blinding everyone in golden white light. When Kalen's vision cleared, the holographic map displayed a new layer, a set of ancient star charts aligned perfectly with Earth's magnetic grid. Layla's scanner beeped wildly. Oh my God, Adrian, the energy output just spiked to levels beyond nuclear fusion. If this continues, the planet's electromagnetic field is going to invert. The surface above Abydos erupted into chaos as well. Satellites malfunctioned, GPS systems failed globally, and strange auroras lit up skies from Cairo to New York. Across the world, people reported hearing a deep, resonant hum vibrating through the Earth itself, as if the planet was singing. News channels scrambled to explain the phenomenon, but no one had answers. Meanwhile, inside the chamber, the machine began projecting visions, fragments of memories not their own, holographic overlays showing a thriving prehistoric civilization of towering structures, lush forests, and glowing energy conduits connecting continents. Kalen's breath caught. This is the world before the flood, he whispered. This is what they built. Layla stared at him, stunned. But why show us this now? Then the machine projected one final sequence, images of Earth covered in devastation, firestorms raging, oceans rising, and cities crumbling, followed by the activation of all Osiris machines. Instantly after, the planet healed itself, deserts transformed into forests, oceans receded, and atmospheric patterns stabilized. Layla gasped. They weren't weapons, they were restoration engines. Suddenly, Amara's voice screamed through the calm. Adrian. Someone else is trying to override the system. On the projection, a red symbol blinked violently, an external signal had locked onto the Osiris machine's frequency. Kalen turned sharply toward Harlow, who was speaking into a secure channel. It's not yours to control. Kalen shouted. Harlow's expression hardened. It's not yours to decide. Before Harlow's operatives could fully seize the console, the machine rejected their command, sending out a directed EMP pulse that knocked out all their equipment instantly. The ground beneath Abydos split open slightly, revealing deep shafts leading into glowing tunnels far below. Layla's voice trembled as she peered into the abyss. There's more down there, Adrian. This is just the control chamber. The main system is beneath us. Suddenly, an unexpected voice echoed through the chamber, a synthesized, harmonic tone forming into recognizable speech. It wasn't human, yet it spoke in perfect Sumerian, matching the language of the Abydos manuscripts. Kalen's translation device barely kept up. Stewards of the engine, the cycle nears completion. The field shall renew, and balance shall be restored. Kalen and Layla exchanged a stunned glance. It's an AI, she whispered. This entire thing is an ancient self-repair system, and it knows we're here. The machine's energy output surged again, and the holographic Earth now displayed a transformation in progress. Antarctica's ice sheets cracked violently as hidden heat signatures flared beneath them. Across the Himalayas, sensors detected deep seismic pulses echoing in rhythmic harmony. And then came the most chilling revelation. Beneath the Pacific Ocean, the largest node, marked Engine Prime, began resonating at an exponentially higher frequency than the others. Amara's voice cracked with awe. Adrian, that's the master control. Engine Prime commands all the others. If it fully activates, it could terraform the entire planet in days. Before Kalen could reply, the Osiris machine suddenly locked onto him. A beam of golden light enveloped his body, lifting him slightly off the floor. He felt thousands of images flooding his mind, mathematical equations, star maps, blueprints for technologies humanity had long forgotten, and a deep, resonant voice whispering, "Will you choose renewal?" And then, silence. The light released him gently back onto the floor. He looked up at the holographic projection, realizing what had just happened. "It's asking us for permission," he said softly. "It won't activate the final phase unless we agree." Harlow snarled, drawing his weapon. "We don't have time for this debate. We take control, now." But before he could fire, the Osiris machine unleashed a defensive pulse, knocking him unconscious. The AI spoke again, softer this time, its tone almost mournful. "Balance must be chosen, not forced." Kalen turned to Layla and Amara, who had just arrived through the collapsing tunnel above. "If we let it finish," Kalen said, his voice low but steady, "the Earth will change forever. Coastlines will shift, climates will reset, and human civilization as we know it might not survive." Layla swallowed hard. "And if we stop it?" He looked back at the countdown, now frozen, awaiting their decision. "Then we risk losing the only system capable of repairing the damage we've already done to this planet." Outside, the sky had turned a strange gold, lightning dancing across an emerald aurora stretching from pole to pole. Humanity unknowingly stood on the edge of its second genesis, and only 3 people in that silent chamber held the choice between renewal and ruin. Kalen placed his palm on the console one final time. The machine's hum deepened into a low, harmonic tone that resonated across the globe. Somewhere beneath the Antarctic ice, Engine Prime responded, its heartbeat synchronizing with Abydos. One by one, the other Osiris machines awakened fully, their energy weaving into an invisible grid spanning the entire planet. The Earth itself seemed to inhale. And as the final harmonic frequency locked into place, a single line of ancient Sumerian text appeared on the holographic projection, translated instantly by Layla's device. "The world you knew is ending. The world you dreamed is beginning." And then, everything went white.